Welcome up in the booth. I'm Joel Klatt, and Oklahoma has just taken care of business in emphatic fashion. 52-14 in the booth is presented by Dr. Pepper, the official drink of Fansville. Okay, lots to get into here. I'll react on the big upset that just took place there in Champaign. But first, let me talk about this game, and we'll start with a couple of things that we need to chat about Oklahoma. Let's start with their quarterback, Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts, I think, has put himself right back in the thick of the Heisman Trophy discussion with his best performance so far as an Oklahoma Sooner. He was cool, calm, and collected as a passer. He got through his progressions. He was accurate down the field, and he actually threw the deep ball better than he has during the course of the season so far as a Sooner. He was terrific, and he was still giving you those signature plays outside of the pocket with his legs. When the West Virginia defense was doing everything right, he still made them wrong with a couple of those touchdown runs. He was phenomenal. Only one incompletion, and that was really a drop. He's going to finish, 16 of 17 for 316 yards and 3 touchdowns. He was absolutely great. And with Wisconsin going down, now you're starting to look at maybe a 3-quarterback race with Jonathan Taylor still putting up yards, but with Wisconsin losing, that's got to take some of the shine off of that for Jonathan Taylor in the Heisman discussion. So now you're looking at Tua, you're looking at Joe Burrow, you're looking at Jalen Hurts, you're looking at Justin Fields. And Justin Fields was tremendous on Friday night against Northwestern, and now Jalen Hurts was absolutely sensational today against West Virginia. And he should be, right? West Virginia is struggling a little bit, in particular on defense, but he was a next level today. Again, his only incompletion was really a dropped pass from Drake Stoops on a 3rd down. I was so impressed with Jalen Hurts. And really quickly, his maturation. What I see from Jalen Hurts is against Houston in the first week, it was, all right, does my first read open? If not, I'm out of here and I'm going to run. And then you started to see him work through his progression and become more of an efficient passer from the pocket. And then I saw him revert a little bit back to that run-first mentality against Texas, although it was very effective at times. And then today, he not only took care of the football, but he got through his progressions. He was great from the pocket, and he was still dangerous with his legs. So Jalen Hurts, kudos to you. That was a sensational performance there today against West Virginia. Other sides of the ball for Oklahoma, their special teams are elite right now. They're great on the kicking game. They were terrific on the return game with CeeDee Lamb and the punt returns. And then they also, on that punt return team, blocked a punt for a touchdown. So that continues to be at an elite level. They continue to win the field position battle, and that's something that will only benefit them down the stretch. And then comes the defense, and this is the most important part. OU fans, you have one question the rest of the season. Can your defense continue to develop into a defense that will eventually win you a playoff game? They don't have to dominate in a playoff game. It's just the fact that you don't want to have to get into a shootout like you have in the last 2 years against Georgia in an overtime game in the Rose Bowl, against Alabama last year in a game in which they were behind the 8 ball from Jump Street. This defense did play well for the most part today. They were terrific against Texas, very disruptive with 9 sacks, 15 tackles for loss. Today, no sacks. So that's an area that they're going to have to get more consistency with, is finding pressure on the quarterback, in particular out of the middle of that defensive line with Neville Gallimore, who played great last week, and he wasn't great this week, at least consistently on a snap-in and snap-out basis. Kenneth Murray continues to shine. I'll get on him in just a moment. But defensively, there is a clear weakness, and that is if they don't present pressure in the quarterback's face, they do still struggle at times in the secondary, covering with those corners. Now, they're more aggressive, and they're doing a better job of challenging the catch point. There's no doubt. But there's way too many flags because of the aggressive nature with which they play with their hands. The grabbing, too many holds, the pass interference calls. So that's going to have to be minimized, and I think it can be minimized. And last week it was, even though they got a couple of those against Texas. Why were they minimized? They didn't have to cover as long because of the pressure on Sam Ehlinger. That pressure was non-existent today. Therefore, it hung those defensive backs out to dry a little bit as it relates to the time that they had to cover back there in the back end. That's something to watch for moving forward. And then lastly, with their defense, the face of this resurgence is, yes, Alex Grinch, the coordinator, who's done a terrific job, but really it's the guy on the field, number 9, Superman Kenneth Murray. Kenneth Murray was sensational again today. Kenneth Murray is right now in the Butkus Award conversation. There's no doubt about it. He is playing at an All-American level. He's playing at a Big 12 Defensive Player of the Year level. His speed is outstanding. He's generally speaking, from sideline to sideline, the fastest player on the field. Running backs can't run away from him. He's attacking those bubble screens very well. He can spy the quarterback from any point on the field and run him down and get him down to the ground. Kenneth Murray is an outstanding player, and if he continues to play at that level and bring that defense along, create some pressure on the quarterback, then they can play, I would say, stifling defense at times, and it's a defense that I think can help them win a playoff game. I think this is Lincoln Riley's best chance at a national championship. Of the teams he's had, they've had some great teams, there's no doubt. But this team is more complete. They're complete on special teams. They have a defense now that can rise up and dominate at points during the game. And their offense is still as potent as it ever has been. So that's the Oklahoma perspective. I do want to give a little bit of a West Virginia perspective because their fan base has always been great. First and foremost, I love Neil Brown. He's in a really tough position right now. You all know it. The cupboard was not very full when Dana Holgorsen left. You've obviously had some guys that dealt with rules violations and were not on the team. Now some transfer portal things, some injury things. What we saw today was one of the youngest teams in the country. Freshmen all over the field. And this experience that they're getting is going to pay off huge down the road. A couple of years from now, I really think West Virginia is going to have a good to great football team, and I think they will compete for Big 12 championships with Neil Brown. I love what they did in the first half. He was giving his team a chance to compete on the road in a really hostile environment with the fake punt, the fourth down that they were able to convert for a touchdown to TJ Simmons. I really love what they've been able to do, and as they develop, and they will, and as they recruit, and they will, they're going to continue to get better and better and better, and the things that you see schematically, the things that you see culture-wise from Neil Brown and that coaching staff, they will pay off in the future, and they will be a bona fide Big 12 contender. Now around the country, Jonathan Taylor, again, great. The defense didn't show up for Wisconsin, and they lose on the last-second field goal to Illinois. I mean, you talk about the prototypical trap game. And they did it in a way that is all too familiar for Wisconsin fans, with a late turnover from their quarterback. Remember, Wisconsin fans, you were lamenting the fact that Alex Hornibrook kept turning the ball over late in games in crucial situations, and they couldn't rely on the run game. They couldn't rely on their defense, and that's what led to so many losses over the last couple of years. And now here you are. All you really need to do is bleed out the clock, and you've got a fumble, you've got an interception, and the turnovers come back to bite you. And they lost to Illinois. Credit to Illinois and Lovie Smith and what they were doing. Brandon Peters, the transfer from Michigan, comes in there at quarterback and gets the win for the Illini. But that is a devastating loss for Wisconsin, who now have to turn around and go right back out on the road and face Ohio State, who I think is the best team in the country, in the shoe next week. That's going to be a daunting task. We'll see how healthy they are this week. We'll see if Jack Cohn can bounce back and get back to that form he was playing with when he was playing against Michigan so well and so efficiently early in the season. What a day of college football. Clemson didn't look great against Louisville. Florida, it took them some time, and then they started to kick it into gear. I think that this second half of the season is going to be one of the most interesting and best college football seasons that we've had in a long time. Lots of contenders out there. We've got lots of teams that I think have national championship caliber teams on all three sides of the ball. Lots of great quarterbacks and Heisman discussions right now, and it should be an exciting one down the stretch. So here from Norman, it's OU 52, West Virginia 14. OU, a bona fide national championship contender. There's no doubt about it. Jalen Hurts certainly in the Heisman discussion. And that is where we finish today. I'm Joel Klatt. This is In the Booth, brought to you by Dr. Pepper. Remember, it's the official drink of Fansville.
Hey, thanks for watching. If you enjoy that clip, make sure you click subscribe somewhere down here. From game highlights to exclusive interviews and rankings, we've got everything you need as a college football fan right here. College football on Fox.